It is impossible to separate the judicial overhaul from proposed Israeli policies in the West Bank. And this as well goes to the heart of what it means for Israel to be a democracy. Israel is now in the 56th year of a military occupation of the West Bank and of the Palestinians who live there, who are not citizens of Israel. There are good reasons for Israel's presence in the West Bank. There are security reasons, there are reasons of history, there are diplomatic reasons why Israel has to remain in the West Bank. There are questions about whether there is truly a Palestinian partner on the other side, and it would be deeply irresponsible of Israel to simply leave the West Bank without some sort of final status negotiation with the Palestinians. Nevertheless, Israel's continued presence in the West Bank presents a real problem for Israeli democracy. Military occupation is meant to be temporary. It is not meant to go on for over half a century and counting. The occupation of the West Bank has real consequences for Israelis who serve in the West Bank, for Israelis who simply have to absorb the idea that Israel is occupying another people, and for Israel's reputation as a democracy on the world stage. Much of the reason behind the proposed judicial overhaul, particularly as conceived of by Bezalel Smotrich, Simcha Rotman, and the Religious Zionism Party, is so that Israel can effectively do whatever it pleases in the West Bank, so that any restrictions that have been placed on Israeli settlement activity by the Israeli Supreme Court can be ignored or done away with. It is the Israeli judiciary that has prevented Israel from building settlements on private Palestinian land. It is the Israeli judiciary that has made sure that the governing authority in the West Bank is the military, as part of a military occupation. It is the Israeli Supreme Court that has prevented the legalization of illegal outposts and prevented outright annexation or application of civil sovereignty by Israel to the West Bank. If Israeli democracy is eroded by making the judiciary completely subservient to the government, if the Supreme Court cannot be independent, if the Knesset can pass whatever legislation it likes without any judicial oversight, the inevitable result will be the creation of a system in the West Bank where Israeli citizens have full rights and Palestinians do not, where any notion of temporary military occupation will be done away with. It is impossible to separate the judicial overhaul from the final status and ultimate disposition of the West Bank, and it is impossible to separate the judicial overhaul from the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. This becomes an issue not only for what it means for democracy inside of Israel, but what it means for the West Bank, what it means for the Palestinians who live there, what it means for the relationship between Israel as the occupying power and Palestinians as the ones who are being occupied, and what it ultimately means for Zionism and for the vision of Israel as a secure Jewish and democratic state.